Alright, here's my next load. I'm still sitting here. The crane is far up ahead if you can see it. And for some reason they're unloading smaller trucks, like our step decks, right? I have the biggest piece, the heaviest one. And I took all my tarps, see all those things on the ground? Those are plastic covers, and all my tarps are folded. I took 4 chains off, left 4 on. So all I need to do is just drive from here to the crane at the end of the building, and then it goes inside that door over there. And I use the time to print out my permit for this next trip, and so my mind is already at this next trip, and this is what I'm picking up, right? So I'm doing my research. I'm now on the internet. This is Caterpillar 521 Fella Buncher. So basically it's like an excavator with this attachment in here, which it can grab what is it for? I think it's basically they set it in the crowd with terrorists, and this thing has a special anti-missile seeking device, and then once it can feel that someone has a bag with IEU or some other Semtex or something, it just grabs that bag. That's what it's for, and it cuts the hand right away as a punishment. But on a serious note, it can grab a tree and cut it, right? So that's why it's called Fella Buncher, I guess. And what I'm trying to determine is, okay, so 300 horsepower engine, 3 and 3, and maximum reach 26.5. I need to know the size of the tracks. Like, the question is for me always when I pick up something like this, it's 73,000 pounds. I need to know, do I need to use my outrigger boards? And so you see, like, part 1 of each job is preparation and research, right? You need to know what are you dealing with. Well, I don't need to know fuel capacity. Weight, operating weight without attachment, 60,000 pounds. Displacement, engine model, Cat C9. Boom system, I don't need that. Undercarriage. Pitch, 8.5 inches. Okay. I think they're talking about the size of the shoe. I don't know, but it looks like my paperwork here says 73,000 pounds. Probably it's with attachment, because this one here, Track Fella Buncher. See, like over here, that's the attachment, so it's 13,000 pounds. Okay, so 13.5 thousand pounds, and add that to 60,000 pounds. So now I wonder, how do I store this thing? You know, where did I put it? Oh, probably on the back somewhere. Yeah, I don't think it's that big, like the tracks. Oh, track gauge. Here we go. 102. That's the distance between the inside of the tracks. Track length 191 inches. Ground clearance 35 inches. But track gauge is 102. 102. 102. Wait a second. The width of my trailer is 102. So are they saying that the inside of the tracks is as wide as my trailer? That does not make sense. Then it would be too wide. But some of these machines actually can be wide, because, you know, they're designed for complete off-road, you know, and they can operate on a hill, and so they have a very wide stance. But it's okay. I have my outrigger boards on the very back, so it'll take me like 10 minutes to put them on. And some guy just called me, unknown caller. You know, when you're in the States and somebody calls you from Canada, caller ID does not work. Unknown. And this Mr. Unknown says, "Oh, Mr. Sergey, I watch your videos. Could you please, when is the next upload?" I said, "Wait, you're calling me to find out when the next upload is?" "Oh, yes, please." I said, "Okay, tonight." And he says, "Can you talk about operating expenses as owner-operator?" And that's what I decided to. So I showed you what goes in, right? So the work. So you have to do your research, know what you're dealing with. And then expenses, well, most of these jobs, as far as I know, when you have your own truck and trailer, first of all, we are paid percentage. Like the company guys are paid by the hour, even when they go on a long trip, but we are paid percentage. And let's say the load pays, well, let's just say $1,000, you know, to make it easy. So first they deduct, that's like the gross rate. First they deduct the expenses associated with the load, which often is with these big machines, it's permits, and I pay tolls. If I go on a toll road or I cross the bridge, it's my responsibility. So I pay tolls, but the permits are taken off the top. So let's say the load pays $1,000 and they had to use an escort, $1.50 a mile, then let's say $500 goes towards expenses. You know, like sometimes it's 50% of when the load pays a lot of money, 50% can go to all these escorts and permits. And from what's left, I get my percentage, and then out of that percentage they deduct fuel, because they know how much I bought, because I'm using the fuel card, right? And I can see the statement where I, even before I send them the receipts. So from that percentage, like my net, right, they deduct fuel, and then licensing, I'm using their plate, and that's how it works in most companies. When you have your own truck and trailer, you use, the company gives you the plate, and usually it's from the state or jurisdiction where the company is registered. Like when I worked for Landstar, it was Illinois, even though I'm Canadian, right? And now I work for this company, they're registered in Nova Scotia, so my plate says NS. And so they give me the plate, but I'm paying for it. So every month, no, every 2 weeks, I think it's $150, okay? And that's it. So fuel, no, tolls, but tolls comes out of my pocket, like if I go over the bridge. So fuel, and then licensing, right? And the only other thing is, yeah, when you start, they deduct some money to fill up an escrow account, because it has to have $3,000, and all the companies I work for are like that. Like it's my money, but it's sitting in this escrow, like a big savings account, and it's designed for, let's say, when I leave, when I quit the job, if something comes in, some kind of you know, fine or something, right? So they have to use that money to pay it, and then they release it after like 60 days or something, and I get it back. So I have $3,000 already sitting there. It's filled up, but until it's, when you start, that's what they take another, let's say, $150 every 2 weeks, because in Canada we normally are paid 2 times a month only, not every week like in the States. But once that fund is full, that's it. So all I have is in this company just fuel and licensing, and most other places they charge you for insurance. But I got lucky over here, they pay insurance. Like, you know, it can be a lot of money. I don't know, $700-800 or $1,000 a month. So they pay insurance. So that's why that's my expenses. And then of course I have to take care of the truck and trailer. That comes out of my pocket, right? Like I do oil changes every 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles, and I also do grease at the same time. And then at half of that, at 12,500 miles or 20,000 kilometers, I do grease on the truck. And at oil change, I do grease on the truck also, and grease on the trailer. So trailer is greased every second time. And that's it. So those are the expenses. But basically, yeah, the company has nothing to do with my equipment, right? Anything that breaks down, the truck, the trailer, it's my responsibility. And that's why, of course, on the one hand, it's a good idea. You don't want to spend too much money when you buy a truck. But on the other hand, if you buy something very cheap and it starts breaking down, you know, you can go broke, because first of all, you cannot work. Your truck sits in the shop, so you're losing loads. And also it costs you you know, money to fix the truck. And so that's why I always say, like, unless you're a mechanic and you can fix most of the things yourself, do not buy a really super cheap truck, you know. That's why my first truck I bought, it was what, like 64,000 Canadian, like pretty expensive for a first truck, but you know, it lasted me almost 10 years, right? I got it in 2007. No, wait a second. I got it, yeah, 2007, and I sold it in 2014. Sorry, yeah, 7 years, but the truck was 2004, and it was built in, according to the sticker on the door, it was built in December 2003, but 2004 model, International 8400. So, well, I'm still waiting. like the bumper on this Mac. Very wide. Very useful for signs like this. Versus on my International, I think the bumper was only 12 inches. And you gotta show the sign. I mean the license plate. Otherwise, you can get a ticket. And thanks to the method of trial and error, like, you know, when you have a new truck, usually it takes a very long time to figure out how to secure all these flags. Now I just put one bungee cord on each side, and then of course the sign itself has little straps, but they're not very strong. I know I gotta do it like this. Pull it real hard. Not enough. Helps to have some protein before this. Alright, that's good. Now we're just adding some flags. I'm gonna keep them away from the wheel, otherwise they damage. If you put them too close to the tire, see, they start ripping the flag. Not good. But one's got a ticket in Michigan, of course, because I used to put these on my steps, and the guy gave me a hard time. Says, "Oh, must be on your corners." Well, there's tires at the corners. What do you want me to do? Well, fix it. All right, yes sir, no sir. All right, so these are the pain in the butt, these signs. Flags are easy, and my machine is already on. The shipper loaded it because it's pretty wide. It's 10.6 from the outside of a track, but these things stick out another 3 inches, so it's exactly 11 feet wide, and half of the track would hang in the air if I did not use the outrigger boards, and I never liked this. Now this was tricky loading this. It doesn't have the attachment actually, but this piece is loose, so we had to strap it down like that. And you cannot put it here, you know, it's very short. If I knew that we were loading like this, I'd probably put the outrigger board somewhere here, but now it sits pretty much in the middle. That's what the guy, the shipper, told me. He says the middle of this machine is pretty much where the center of the gravity is. But I wish I could have brought it a bit closer. But the counterweights on these things, these are not excavators, right? They only lift, you know, 10,000 pound tree, if that. And so they don't need lots of counterweights. So they're pretty light. The guy says it's probably around 65,000 pounds. He says it cannot be, no way, like my paperwork says. My paperwork says 73. He says no way. He says 73 maybe with the attachment, but even then he had trouble believing that the attachment would add so much weight. See, and these are little tricks you need to know where to secure your sign. And again, the license plate must be visible or you'll get a ticket, right? It's like that show, 1000 Ways to Die. Like, we truckers can do a show called 1000 Ways to Get a Ticket. Okay, then I just put the flags in here and use a couple of bungee cords. Maybe I'll do it now while you guys are not yet sleeping. All right, flag 1, flag 2. Then I'll just put what, 6 chains. And funny enough, there's only one hole in the middle for the tie down, not 2 like on excavators. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna connect this, but we'll figure it out. Oh, and I need to tie down the loose part of the strap on that low stick. Hey, one interesting thing happened yesterday. I think yesterday. No, the day before. On day 1 of my trip. I was sleeping, you know, minding my own business, and then around 1 o'clock I awoke from my slumber because the truck shook. And when you parked, that's never a good thing, right? So I went outside and the guy was trying back next to me. I didn't see anything, but I was looking, walking around and looking, and the driver comes out and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I think I hit you." I said, "Where?" I don't see anything. And I had that super expensive machine on, right? And he points to the middle of the trailer. He says, "I think it was somewhere here." And I'm thinking, oh boy, you know, if he hit the machine, I can be in all kinds of trouble. And so we look at the middle. No, I don't see anything. Then I started looking and I saw it right away. So this axle was up and there was a scratch here, like he just took off the paint. This spot, you see this? And this. And I just painted that with that's why it's always, all my trailers from now on are black, because all you need is just black paint. You don't have to fine-tune the coordinate the paints, right? My previous was gray, the one before that was orange. Pain in the butt. When it's black, it's black. You grab a can of black paint, done. So the idiot hit my thing, hit my axle, and I checked everywhere. No, he didn't hit this. He didn't hit the tires. Like, he was backing at such crazy angle, and it was a dry van. On one of his doors he had a hinge, and he hit it. So this pretty much was the size of that hinge, you know. Well, at least he didn't hit this, so the light is on. He just, you know, 1 inch to the right and he would damage my light, or this one. So I got really lucky, but this trailer just not lucky, you know. Yeah, I don't see any other damage. He was just going real slow because he was afraid I don't think he bent anything. But it's just scary, you know, like these truck stop. And the guy was probably like in his early 60s. Yeah, I'm just looking at the lower bottom to see if it's bent or something, but I don't think so. No, he wouldn't bend it. That's like real solid steel. I don't see anything. But if you remember, one of the first trips what happened, and a guy was backing at the 90-degree angle towards me. I did not see him, he did not see me, he hit me here, right? See this? He hit the wheel, this mark over here. No flats, nothing, just took a brand new trailer. He took a piece of aluminum off here and he squashed this. But I managed to bend it back and it works. Alright, let me just put my chains on. I'm gonna pause the video and we'll continue once the chains are up. Okay, the machine is tied down and it was tricky. I don't want to hear any suggestions. You can keep them to yourself. Thank you very much. But let me just grab a hook and I'll show you what I mean. Like normally, of course, you tie it down in the middle. The chain can go there, but it's too far from these hooks. I try to put 1 center chain in there in the hole in the frame and go over the tracks. Does not work because it's all like this and it's gonna scratch the heck out of the tracks. You know, it's a brand new machine, but on a typical excavator, right, you take a hook like this and you put it where the wheel is, otherwise it'll start sagging once you start tightening this. So I usually put it on right above the wheel where my D-ring is. See, like here, this would be perfect. There's a D-ring in there and I would use a long chain and there's a wheel in here. Like normally you don't have these on excavators. On excavators they only have 2 in the front and 1 dumb in the back. And it looks perfect, right? Except this is standard hook. You put it like this. And it doesn't go in. You know? I don't want to push it all the way because then I won't be able to get it out. So the only way to connect, only one part, this part. This part is thinner, and that's the only part where you can put the hook, you know? Like, see, it doesn't want to go in here, but it goes in here, you know? And so I had to look for these smaller parts and make sure it's all, you know, pulling symmetrically, right? Because otherwise, if you're not careful, and I had to do the same over here. So I put 2 chains on the front on each track, so 4 and 4 in the back. And now all I gotta do is, I already did the most important part, the planning. So I'm gonna tie down this thing, the boom, with a strap. And I went to have these because I'm not too concerned about the strap destroying the paint. What I am concerned about is the strap tearing, because the edges over here are sharp, and that's when these are very handy. So it's gonna go up probably like this. but it took me a long time. I already got a message from dispatch saying that they need me to go through the scale so that they order more permits, because right now I only got Georgia. Okay, I'm gonna do like this. So you need one strap and one bungee cord. And I'll tell you, you will see why you need a bungee cord in a second. But to give an idea, this strap is 30 feet long. And sometimes you spend more time tying down the loose end than actually strapping, because you don't want to be one of those guys driving down the road with a 30-foot strap dragging behind you. The ratchet is all rusty, but probably I should grease it. So thanks again to someone who suggested this chain lube. See, the best stuff. I use it for binders. I use it for this. And why it's good? Because it's kind of like dry film. But the best part, unlike the WD-40, it does not attract dirt. Oh, I see. Right away started going smoothly. Geez, I think I'm moving the machine. All right, now you see, here's the trick. What are you gonna do with this? Of course, the easiest solution is grab a pair of scissors and cut it. But the chance that next time when you need a strap it'll be exactly the same length, the chances are slim. So by Murphy's law, if I cut the strap right now, next time I will need half a foot longer, and so it's not practical. So no scissors this time. And what I do is I just hook it up like this. And usually it's not going anywhere. So like this. Make sure it's tight. Stay. Well, I think that's it. Oh, and I tied down that one. I remember it. So I got 3 axles down. Now what else do I need to do? Probably just for the heck of it, I need to measure the height.
and I need to connect my flags. Alright, let's go do the flags. This is my favorite part. My favorite part of loading. Now, DOT will say that you need flag. Well, I cannot put them on the corners because I probably have to use 3 on each corner, because you definitely need it over here for sure, because that's the widest part. That's what this guy from Michigan was telling me about. Uh-oh, this is not good. Because, well, but again, each state is different, right? But just for the heck of it, we're gonna do this. That's the widest point. All right. And then we'll put 1 on each corner. But I don't think I have enough flags. But it is 11 feet wide, right? So you gotta let people know that you're wide. Oh, I got 3 left. Perfect. So you can never have enough flags. Okay, on this one I think I'll go this way. All right. We are almost legal. Gotta get a couple of more flags, because once they're dirty, you're supposed to use clean flags. That one is about gray area. Okay, I got flags in the front, flags in the back, 3 on the machine, 1 in each corner, 1 in the widest point. Okay. All right, last thing before I leave. Measure the height. And look this, so that when I'm going through Cleveland, Ohio, nothing happens. Let's get it done. So for the next exercise, boys and girls, we need this Autocraft part 30257XYZ. Oh, I'm just kidding. It's a measuring tape and a pen, and you need your palm to write down the numbers. And then you kind of step aside and you just check your work. Like I always say, just take a moment, look at everything. Maybe you forgot something, but most importantly I'm trying to see which part is higher. So probably that part of the boom where the thingy is sticking out. Let me just pull up my pants. Otherwise, if they drop down, that's not going to be good. That's not going to help me in measuring the height. Now, some guys carry those folding poles, but usually I'm okay with this. What I do is I just bring it over here. Okay, 124, and then I hold my finger on 124 and I go to the ground. 148. Now 148 is 12.4. What? I'm not even 13.6. That's good. See? 12.4. So I already measured this. So yeah, I'm 11 feet. So 12.4. 12 feet. 12.4. 12 foot tall. Alrighty. Now I just need to use my smartphone to find okay, location on, to find the truck stop with a scale. Hello. I love this camera, you know, it's so small, doesn't weigh anything. It's very hot. And today I was a good boy in terms of nutrition. I had 2 protein bars, Quest protein bars in the morning, and then as I was waiting to get unloaded with the first load, I used my all vegan protein, you know, that big jug I have, and I made a cocktail, so that's another 27 grams of protein. And then I had 1 cookie, so 1 carb for the day, that's fine. 1 cookie with the Starbucks. I found Starbucks on the way out from that plant. Parked right inside, grab a venti Americano upside down, and here I am, and drank lots of water. Okay, so let's see. Location. Yep, there's a scale. Oh, there's Loves. There's Loves, alright. Loves, Hogansville, Georgia. Alright. Let's see if they have the scale. Scales, yes. Beautiful. So that's where I'm going. The only problem is that on the way to that Loves, there's a scale, like DOT, you know, inspection station. So if something is wrong with my weights, that's where they will get me. But hopefully everything is fine, because I did everything, I think, correctly. Probably just need to check with the exhaust pipe in there. Let's see if I can cover it, and then we'll start trucking.